Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pink 'Un. It's another day and another insight video because Norwich City have been back into the transfer market. They're looking to sign, or well, as we speak, they haven't yet signed Papa Diallo from Metz, but we're expecting that deal will be completed, and it should be by the time you see this. So I'm delighted to be joined by Arthur Verdelet, who, as part of his role at L'Equipe, covers Metz, where of course Diallo has been signed from by Norwich for a fee we believe to be around €5 million, or that's I think £4.3 million roughly. But we'll start with sort of Diallo as a player. So first of all, Arthur, thanks very much for joining us. How are you? And tell us a little bit about him as a player.
Hello, Sam. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to speak about Papa Amadou Diallo with you. I'm very nice for the moment. Thanks. If I have to speak about him as a player, I'm gonna say he's a winger, very thin guy, fast and fairly technical. He has the profile to play on every position in attack, but he play at right wing or even as a supporting striker. He has played at Metz, but he play most of the time in the left wing. That's his best position. And you talked about the transfer fee. It's for €5 million. I'm gonna say it for the moment because I said first it was 4.5 millions, and they talked me about 5 millions after, plus bonuses were gonna be not for the moment. And the contract is for 4 years, and he has signed for the moment, but he's just waiting his visa to come in England in a few days to play to Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned sort of the fact that he's maybe quite a sort of thin player, and that physicality is something that actually has been mentioned to me before as maybe something he'll have to work on. So do you think that's an area of improvement for him coming to England?
Clearly,
Yeah.
I'm very surprised to see him in England to say and in Championship, because I know this is a very hard.
Yeah.
There is a lot of hard teams to play, and that's one of the weaknesses I could say about him. That's his physicality, and he has a lot of little problem injuries in the season. He has to improve it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what's attracted Norwich has been mainly this last season, which I think has been quite a good one for him. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think it's a good season he has done in Metz, because he has scored I mentioned it, 7 goals and 4 assists in 21 games in League Two.
Yeah.
That's his really first season complete in Europe, because he has come to Metz from Generation Foot the season just before, when he come to Metz in February 2023. He started to play with the second team in sixth division in France, and he has impressed the coach and all the staff. They talked about him to the first team coach, who was Laszlo Bologna at this moment, a guy who wasn't playing a lot of young guys, but Diallo has impressed him. He played the I think 15 or 16 games in League One, just few minutes, and he come titular for the last few games of the season. And at this moment, he was playing with George Mikotadze, who come on loan for the last of the season. And he has impressed a lot of people in Liga at this moment. And just the last year in League Two, Metz was relegated. He played for Stéphane Le Mignon on the wing, at left or right, but he wasn't all the time titular. And if I have to say something to improve too, he could be better from a game to another game, because he's not at the same level from one game to another game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the academy that he came from, Generation Foot. I think you've pronounced it probably better than me, but
You
it's
good?
one that's obviously, it's obviously quite well known. I think Sadio Mane came from there, Pape Matar as well, who's who's now at Tottenham, and there is a little bit of a sort of relationship between that academy and Metz. So yeah,
Yes.
tell us about that.
Yeah, that's clearly something which is very known in England now because, for example, you mentioned Papa Amadou who is in Tottenham now and one of the best players in Tottenham, I think. There is Ismail Assar who I could take like an example for Papa Amadou Diallo. I think that's a type of guy like him. Papi Cisse, who was at Newcastle a few years ago, Sadio Mane, who played for Salzburg before going to Southampton and Liverpool after. But I could talk about Diafra Sakho too, who was at West Ham just after Metz. And all these guys have played a little time in Metz before coming England. I could say the best moment France, there are a lot of potential and not they are not developed totally when they come to England. And Papa Amadou Diallo is a guy like that for me. You have to improve him. You have to make him better a few years, I think, before having the player he could be in a few years.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting pathway that there is between between Metz and the academy and where obviously Diallo's come from. But in terms of where he is now, I mean, you mentioned you were a little bit surprised maybe that he's actually ended up in England and the Championship, which is quite a physical league. But do you believe that he can be a success at Norwich and in the Championship?
Yeah, I think so. He just has to don't have a lot of injuries. We can't say it for the moment, but at Metz, he has improved his physical. He has taken a little pounds of kilo. A few years ago, he was very thin, more than a lot of more than today. And I think he has a great potential. He's young. He has 21 years, I think, now. And if he's well developed, he continues to progress in the few months, he could be a very good player. I spoke about Ismail Assar, and I think he reminds me of him. Just a little not as talented as Ismail Assar, I think, at the moment, okay? But he could be a player like him who score 9 or 10 goals in the season in a few years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he is only 21, as you mentioned, and there's a lot of talk about potential. But do you think he's someone who needs a bit more time, maybe to develop
Yes.
before he can be a sort of
Clearly, you have to be patient with him, and I think he is a player who can be a little. You think you don't do anything at the right moment. He could be a little. He could angry you at moments, but he has flashes who are very good at in the game. He has moments. He has very good ideas too. You're gonna see it in a few games because he could. I don't know how to say it. He could. You couldn't see him during 10 or 15 minutes, and he has a idea of genius just before or just after he score a goal, and you don't see him in all the game after, for example.
Yeah, just finally, I wanted to ask you about the transfer fee. You mentioned sort of how it breaks down. Obviously, maybe a €5 million package rather than immediately. That's what Metz are going to get. But I wanted to see what you made of that. Obviously, you've seen that move from Metz to England before, and you've seen those players who've gone before. So that fee, do you think that's about right? What Norwich have paid, or is it a better deal for either party?
I think it's a good pay for Norwich. It's a good pay for Metz too, and
Yeah.
for the players, it's a good solution to come out of Metz because I think he could have made one more season in League One to confirm what he has done 2 years ago. But I think that's a new project for him. He's gonna be taken out of a project who were a lot of Senegalese with him in the locker room. I'm very curious to know how he could be in your locker room, because I don't know. I've seen the players in the locker room, and I think there is not a lot of guys who speak French. No.
No, maybe not. No, I don't think so.
And I don't know the level of Papa Amadou in English, but I'm gonna say he has to prove to another team what he can bring and what his value actually. But I think 5 million euros, it's a price actually of a young guy like him with a lot of potential, and a striker, or a guy who can play on the wing. That's the price of the market.
Indeed, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Thank you very much for joining us, Arthur. If people want to go and learn more about Metz and Diallo, and they want to do that through you, how can they find your work?
Yeah, you can find me on X, Verdelet A, that's my account, or on L'Equipe. I write article concerning football principally, and Metz, where I follow the team during the season with a few journalists. If you want to see what I do, you can see it now.
Well,
Thanks for having me. It has been a pleasure, and sorry for my English. I have to improve it, like Papa Amadou for the season.
No, is that absolutely bang on, Arthur? Thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, recommend going to L'Equipe and to Arthur's X account, and I also recommend to Norwich fans a Pink 'Un subscription. We've got a sale on at the moment, £15 for a year, and you can find out more about that at pinkun.com/subscribe. But for now, thank you very much for joining us in this video. I'm sure we'll see you soon for another one.